This is Jonathan Lane from Fan Film Factor, and today I am here with the brand new power couple from the Avalon universe, and that would be Miss Cora Wilson over here, who plays Nurse to Prin in the latest The Needs of the One, and over here we have Mr. Wade King, who plays Lieutenant Commander Williams of Security. And you guys were just absolutely adorable in the most recent Avalon universe fan film. I just you guys are just so cute.
Awesome.
I came here to escape what this means for me.
Well, it appears to have caught up with you, and I don't know how to help you.
I've always found you to be a man of great compassion.
That's why I carry a phaser.
I greatly admired your efforts recently, evacuating those injured colonists.
It's doing my job.
Now you wish to help me. Admirable. Passion is so admirable.
Hold on, listen. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings between us. Like, you are so beautiful. There's no way I can take advantage of you in this situation. You know, my plan usually have to consent to something like this.
Do you consent to Kunut Khalifi?
Yeah.
Now, I just want to make it clear that they are not married in real life. In fact, Cora has a husband named Brian. Is that right?
That's correct. But can I add something?
Oh, go right ahead.
A good friend of mine watched the film. And so my husband and Wade, I think you guys, I think it's just the hair. My husband has long hair too, similar color. And Wade, you do have I feel like your eyes they're very beautiful, and my husband has very beautiful eyes. So and they stick out. So a friend of mine, he's an old professor of mine, he watched the video and he called me, he said, well, Cora sure does have a type, because saying that you look like my husband. So
Fair enough.
Did Brian have any problem with you kissing another man?
Not at all. He is a great guy who, I've been in theater for a long time. There's been a lot of onstage kisses. We were actually in a play together in high school back in the day. So he knows it's a part of the job, and he's just really, no issues at all. Great guy.
That's good. I've heard a lot of wonderful things about Brian from Josh. In fact, I believe that that's how he found you guys, because he spars with Brian. Is that right?
Yes. So through the he goes to like a cousin of our martial arts gym. So we're kind of all interconnected. And so, we've done martial arts, kind of been next to each other for the past, I don't know, maybe 8 years or so. So, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Josh, Josh Irwin, who directs the Avalon universe, various fan films, and he's the showrunner, and he's the writer, and he does everything. He needed both a gym and a person who could actually do some kinds of martial arts, and you were there. And you were an actress or an actor. I was told by Alex, that's be Alex Rexford, who plays Allende. I was told that I should be using the word actor, not actress.
Well, that's new to me, so you can call me whatever you want.
Okay, all right. Actually, she didn't really tell me that. She just sort of, when I said actress, she replied with actor. I gotta be careful about that. It's not just pronouns anymore. Gotta be careful after.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
And what about you, Wade? Do you have acting experience as well, and training?
Oh yeah. I've been, oh my gosh, how long has it been now? I think I started my interest in the martial arts at about age 5, when I saw Bruce Lee and I saw Power Rangers for the first time, and that just kind of sparked my path from there. So I've been training. Oh my gosh, I think I started really getting after it when I was 15. So probably about 20 years now, I think. And just
acting, or 20 years martial arts?
Oh, martial arts.
Okay.
For acting, I started in South Korea, where I was an English teacher, and I was going to college over there. And then I get a call from the principal because apparently they built this broadcasting studio at the top of the school. So they said, you got to go up there and do like a public access type of show for teaching English. And they showed me the broadcasting studio and then just kind of like let me have it. So I had to jump in with like both feet head first. And it's been kind of just doing that ever since. Ever since I got back, I got into the theater department and just been kind of, running with my pants on fire. down that hallway.
The best way to run, folks.
Excellent.
In fact, if you don't light my pants on fire, I will not run.
Yeah, exactly. But just been doing it ever since. As a matter of fact, I just got back from shooting another short, so I am pooped right now. But I'm here and I'm excited to be here. So let's do this.
Let's do this. All right. Now, so basically you both could kick my ass individually and together. Is this correct?
It's not quite.
I don't know what you know. Who knows?
Okay, well, truth to tell, back when I was in high school, I took Taekwondo, so I am a brown belt in Taekwondo. That being said, I haven't really done Taekwondo in probably since Reagan was president. And that being said, my 11-year-old is a purple belt in Renshinkan karate.
Okay.
And his sensei, here I'm going to take over the interview. It's not going to be about me. But his sensei, just after COVID, just after the lockdown ended, moved back to Puerto Rico to take care of his parents. The house was damaged during the hurricanes, and they're getting older and whatever. So he really needed to be there with them. And Jaden chose to stay with his sensei. Sensei had already been, doing online classes anyway for, almost 2 years. So he's like, I'll still offer online classes. So Jaden now does karate once a week.
Okay.
He's up in his room on his computer. And his sensei still comes out here like once every maybe 5 or 6 months. And anyway, during class, one of the things that they do is kumite, which
those are fun.
You guys know what I'm talking about. And those people out there who don't, kumite is sparring, right?
So did he have to spar you?
Okay. So Jade's not just 11, he's a big 11. He's not, he's not like hefty or anything. He's actually very, very athletic. I, on the other hand, am, a very large 55-year-old man. But anyway, we do 2 to 3 minute long rounds, usually 5 rounds. And Jaden hits hard and kicks hard. And he's got bones and I've got bones. And those bones occasionally.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Bone to bone is rough.
He actually he knocked my thumb out of alignment. I think it was this thumb about 2 months ago. And it might have even been broken. I don't know. But like for like almost a month, every time I went like this with my thumb, pain. I blocked a kick and oh my God. So
yep, I've done that exact same thing. And my thumb was here and then it was hanging off of here. So you just had to grab it and then pop it back on. And that was that.
Just
so I get it.
You guys had, folks watching this, you had no idea this was coming. You figured I was going to be interviewing 2 cute actors who played a Vulcan and the security guard. Oh, did you realize it's going to be thumbs hanging off? Oh my goodness. So each one of you, Cora first, what are the martial arts, or what is the martial, I don't know how many you specialize in, that you know?
So I have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I got to brown belt in judo, but I'm going to finish that one day. That's like my next goal, is to finish and round out my judo black belt. I have a black belt in a kickboxing style called Superfoot. So Bill Superfoot Wallace, he has his like curriculum that you can go through and earn a black belt in. So I have that. I've got another kickboxing black belt. So mostly like boxing, kickboxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, and just a little bit of wrestling.
Wow. Yeah, you can kick my ass. And what about you, Wade? What do you know and what have you mastered?
Oh my gosh. I'm still a seed in the ground, I guess you could say. But I've just traveled like so much, and I don't know. I try to do it all, in all honesty. When I was in South Korea, I did Muay Thai, MMA, boxing, some Taekwondo, and Kendo with the shinai, the sticks. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Um, Prior to that, it was a bunch of just hard sparring from my Vietnamese friend and his dad. I'm not exactly for sure the style that they had. I think it's called Vo Nam, which was really cool. And then really got into Jeet Kune Do and wrestling and just things like that over the course of the years. And got my blue belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, like, my gosh, like 4 years ago, I think now. And I've just been going with it ever since.
How far away from black is the blue belt?
It goes white, blue, purple, brown, and black. So I've got 3 more.
There
And hopefully I get it before I die. That's all I can say.
Good goal.
as a brown belt in Taekwondo.
It goes by really slow. So like Taekwondo, where you're earning belts like every few months, you can earn a black belt maybe, like depending on the program, 2 to 4 to 5 years. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're not going to receive a black belt unless, I mean, most places a minimum of 8 years training is typically what it looks like for a black belt. And again, different people do things differently, but it does take a lot. So like a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that means you've been training, you have quite a bit of knowledge, you've been doing it for a while. I remember my husband, when he was in college, when he got his blue belt, this was like 12 years ago, he was so proud because in Arkansas, there wasn't a ton of blue belts at that time.
Right.
And so he, like, when the college introductory, they said, "What? Tell us about you." He's like, "I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu." And someone was like, "Well, it's not black. So like, why are you telling us about it?" Because people just didn't understand that, it goes by, the rate goes by a lot slower, and blues actually at that time was a big feat.
Yeah, it definitely takes a while.
Yeah, I think I got my brown belt after 5 years, if I remember, in Taekwondo. But I never rushed it. We always decided when to take our belt test. It was never, like, oh, automatic, it's time for you to do it. It's like they had tests every 4 months or 5 months or whatever, but you didn't automatically pass. So I think I was a high green belt for the longest time because I just never felt that I had enough to go for red. And then brown was one of the last belt tests I took, and then I went away to college and like, okay, time for do other things. I'm busy now. And then for anybody who's curious, Jaden's purple belt is 2 steps away from black. So he's got a brown after his purple, but he's been doing karate since he was 4.5. So that's 7 years.
That's
I'm
awesome.
very proud of him. Sensei makes us spar a lot. I mean, sometimes there's be like 5-minute sparring sessions, and I haven't warmed up like Jaden does, and like I said, I'm an overweight 55-year-old guy, and I'm doing like 3 or 4 or 5-minute rounds with this kid, and he's like, the first round is like only punching, the second round is only kicking, and then the third round is like, okay, only back kicking, and I have to do the same stuff to Jaden. I have to remember this crap.
But I mean, it sounds like you're keeping up, though. Sounds like you're keeping up with them. If you're at 55 keeping up with an 11-year-old, you're doing something right.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm learning how to dodge. Actually,
that's a good skill.
Well, you don't want to hit your son too hard, that becomes child abuse. So,
right.
So I have to challenge him, but at the same point in time, I can't really go in for the kills. I have to stop like just before I get the solar plexus. But anyway, let's go back to Star Trek fan films, Val.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with Cora. So Josh comes to you and says, "Would you like to be in my fan film?" Was that pretty much how it happened?
That's exactly how it happened. Yeah.
And then are you a Star Trek fan at all? Did you know what a Vulcan was and how a Vulcan acts and such?
So I knew what a Vulcan was. Growing up, we didn't really, like, my parents just didn't watch Star Trek. I talk about like a lot, like, I don't know, like my parents really weren't sports people. We didn't really watch Star Trek. My parents just worked really hard, and I don't know, like that wasn't just something that was on a lot. We did a lot of stuff outside, but I always knew what it was. So I'm not a fan, but I am a fan at the same time because I can admire it and go, hey, that's awesome. That's cool. When I first got the role, my husband's a big film and movie buff. So like he is all about like, let's sit down, let's watch. So I started watching the old episodes and enjoyed it. It's great. If I were to say I'm a fan, I feel like fans would be like, we've been here for 30 years. Where have you been? But
come in the pool. The water's great.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I like. So I will say, being around people who are true Trekkies, it's super awesome. I love seeing it. I love seeing the passion. It's really admirable. Great group of people. Again, I just like seeing and being around people who find something that they love and make cool stuff happen with it. So it's a pretty cool group to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons that I'm here covering it all, because like, okay, well, if you guys are going to try hard enough to actually make a fan film, somebody must somebody should give you the credit and the
Yeah.
All right, so Josh comes to you, says, "You want to be in my fan film? You know what a Star Trek is. You know what a Vulcan is," and he tells you about the character. Now, first of all, I have to say that you knocked it out of the park as to print. It is not easy to play a Vulcan. I have seen many fans try, especially fans without acting training, try to play a Vulcan, and usually the way they play a Vulcan is to just talk like this very slowly without blinking. It's kind of okay, but Leonard Nimoy didn't do that as Spock. Leonard Nimoy really emoted through not emoting. It was uncanny. But seldom do we see in a fan film somebody just nail a Vulcan. And not only did you nail a Vulcan, you nailed a Vulcan in heat, out of control, trying to keep control. How the heck did you prepare for that?
So I will tell you this. I am a very emotional person. I am very expressionate. And when I say emotional, I don't mean like in the corner crying, but I love feeling feelings. I love being happy and I love being excited and sad. So it was very challenging. I would say this is probably one of my most challenging roles because it's so hard for me not to want to put emotion into stuff. Josh I just took my cueing from Josh. I said, he would tell me what he wants. We would run it a couple of times, make tweaks. I was really insecure because I know that there's a lot of people who love Star Trek and the internet can be so mean. And so I was very, very nervous when the film came out. And I will say the people who follow Josh and Avalon, they're super supportive and awesome and nice. The comments for the most part are nothing but positive. And that was actually one of the first things I looked at when I agreed to the film is I went to the YouTube channel and I looked at what people were saying about it. And everybody was so kind and so nice and supportive and happy that somebody was producing things and putting it out there. Because I'm telling you right now, if there would have been like a large group of mean people, I don't know if my heart could handle people being so mean. I am sensitive. So that's why I stopped kind of being in the acting modeling, was because getting turned down, you got to have tough skin, and you're going to get turned down a lot. So that's part of the reason, I didn't continue in that field. But yeah, so just kind of going over the script a lot, talking to Josh. I talked to him about what he felt like the character was, who I thought the character was. I will say that, as a Vulcan, towards at the end of the film, like I smile. And I know that's kind of not Vulcan-like, but I feel like that is, again, the character development of kind of becoming who she wants to be and not who society and tells her to be, I guess.
I know that. And honestly, that, it worked so well for her kind of awakening. And I think, it softens the Vulcans a little bit, because we usually see them at their most logical and their most controlled, but they're not always like that all the time. And as Star Trek has said many times in a lot of episodes, it's not that Vulcans don't have emotions. They have very, very strong emotions. They just
control them. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and that's where I think a lot of fans who don't have the acting experience kind of not lose it, but maybe, miss the mark a little bit on Vulcans, because they really treat them as if they have no emotions, as
Nothing.
opposed to the emotions are all
Mm.
under the surface.
Mhm.
But not that I'm criticizing any of the fans who go and play Vulcans. It's not easy to play a Vulcan. So I mean, good for you for trying, and keep at it,
Absolutely.
kid. Uh, all right, let's go over to Wade, and talk about you. This is your second Avalon Universe film, right?
I
Or
think
more?
it's, you know what? I think this actually might be my second. I can't remember if I had done one before. So this is either 2 or 3 for me right now.
Okay, yeah, because you were in Aaron Darkness, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yes. And I thought, like, the moment Josh handed me a red shirt, I was like, oh, all right, so this isn't gonna last long, is it? And then, like, he's just here I am now. It's been a wild ride. And in all honesty, like, all credit to Josh. Like, this is his baby, and like, he takes care of it. Like, I mean, the man is selling like his own blood to finance, like,
Yeah.
doing this. Like, he is actually like shedding blood, sweat, and tears for this. And
Can I explain that,
all
by the way,
power
to
to him.
people? I want to explain that comment, because I wrote a whole blog about this, and unfortunately have to put the blog on hold, but I want people to know about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Josh was going to sell his blood plasma, and this was the plan. This was the plan going into, I guess, May or June, that apparently you can sell your blood plasma. It's different than donating blood. And blood
Mm.
plasma, they put all the good stuff back in. They just keep the plasma, so you can do it like twice a week, because the last 3 fan films, especially the second one, Agent of New Worlds, went so over budget, and Josh didn't re-crowdfund anything, that he used up all of the crowdfunding money. Part of the reason it went over budget is because they lost the person who was playing Ioka twice. So there was all of the trips, and they had to pay for the hotels and the gas and everything. And then suddenly they had to do it all over again, and then all over again, because they lost 2 actresses and all the footage that they shot. So
Right.
anyway, Josh was in the hole about $2,500. So he was planning to sell his blood for the fan. And I actually had written a blog about this. And then Josh got COVID, because his little boy got COVID.
Yep.
Was too young to be vaccinated, so he brought COVID home from school or camp or whatever, and then Josh got it. And you can't give blood when you have COVID, so he had to wait until that happened. And then he went in. All right, it's time. I've tested negative. He goes into the facility, and they tell him, okay, well, we're too busy right now, we can't take you, because apparently if you're going to pay people $150 for their blood, lots of people will go and do that and make extra gas money and whatever. So he goes in again. Weeks later, once again, they're full up. So the next time he goes in like early on a Sunday morning, figuring everybody in Bentonville, Arkansas is going to be in church.
Right.
Well, apparently the ones that weren't in church were in the blood facility. So finally, and now we are up to a couple of weeks ago, and I'm all ready to, put this blog in there. I wanted this blog to go up before his current crowdfunder. We're going to talk about the crowdfunder at some point too. But the crowdfunder is for the next film. He's still trying to pay for the last films. But I figured I would talk about how Josh is literally giving his blood and sweat to his fan films, to pay, various overages and pay people back for the money they spent on gas and food and lodging and all that sort of stuff. And so it was getting kind of close to the launch of his crowdfunder, and like, okay, well, Josh is, go there on Sunday morning, make sure you take a photo of yourself, like, horizontal, so I could put it in the blog. And I get a call from Josh about, I guess, 10 a.m. my time. He'd been there for 3 hours after waiting all the time. He'd made an appointment, so they took him. And anyway, they found lipomas in his arms, which are sort of pre-cancerous, not bad cancer or whatever, but they're just like tumor stuff on the fat cells there.
Okay.
And apparently they're in a spot where they would put the cup for the donation. And I guess these guys are more choosers than beggars, and so their lawyers basically say we can't do this unless you guys, unless you were to, get a $5,000 elective surgery and have
All that
your
work.
lipomas removed.
Oh,
We cannot. So anyway, Josh is still in some desperate financial trouble. I have been working to try to find some people to help him out. He's been working and trying to do this. He's trying to get some extra work on the side, whatever he can, do on weekends legally while still having a regular job. So anyway, yes, but that is Josh. And so the blog about Josh selling his own blood to pay for his fan films is just sitting on my hard drive waiting for, who knows if it's ever going to happen.
yeah.
So anyway.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know all that. That was crazy.
I don't even know if Josh wants you to know. So
that's all right. Well, yeah, it's all,
don't tell him I told you.
It's our secret.
Exactly. Yeah. And the 400 people who watched the video.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I need to stay still? Do we need to cut this out?
No, we're good. Just the cat's out of the bag.
There.
So anyway, let's see what else do I want to talk about. Well, actually, you know what I really want to talk about, Cora? That tattoo.
Oh.
Everyone's talking about that tattoo. What is? I mean, it's a cool tattoo, and the thing is, it's kind of Vulcan-ish.
It's a Vulcan tattoo.
There you go.
Yeah.
And because I don't think people think of Vulcans as having body art, but it would seem like, well, if it's artistic, the Vulcans would embrace it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're probably the first tattooed Vulcan we've seen.
Yeah. So
awesome.
My mom was watching the live stream, and she said something. I was teaching a class, so I couldn't catch it all, and I hopped over at the last minute. And she said that everyone was super nice in the comments, but somebody was like, "What is that crap on her arm?" So there was only one person that didn't like it. But yeah, I was nervous about it, and I mentioned it to Josh. I said, I do have what do you think? And he's like, I like it. He's like, and it looks good with the black. Let's do it. So I was like, awesome.
I mean, because you could have worn something over it, but
no, I mean, he was fully supportive of the tattoo. I even brought a long sleeve black workout shirt just in case, and he was like, no, I like it. I think it goes with the Vulcan vibe. So,
well, I think as I said many times, there's no wrong way to make a Star Trek fan film. It's obviously people might not like everything you do, which is fine. Whatever. I mean, people don't like Star Trek Discovery, and that's made by the studio. But if Vulcans have a tattoo like that, if Josh and you say Vulcans have a tattoo like that, and people want to put in their headcanon, then boom, that's where.
Yep. In Avalon, Vulcans have tattoos.
Exactly.
Awesome.
It's a different universe too. So these are the tattooed Vulcans. But what is that supposed to be anyway? Just in real life.
So this is actually a design called Flower of Life. It's a part of sacred geometry. So if you look up sacred geometry, there's just these patterns that have been discovered throughout all of time across the entire world. And essentially all this is, well, it fades out, but it's a bunch of circles. And all the circles, when you make them, turn into these little flower designs. And so I've always loved geometric tattoo thing. I've got some honeycombs on my legs. I've got some geometry down there. And I just thought it was super cool. And for 10 years, I loved it. And then one day I was like, all right, I'm getting it.
Well, awesome. Now, is that all of that tattoo, or is that just the start of what will be a longer tattoo?
I don't know. So I might take me 10 more years to figure out the rest. So people ask me that all the time, and I'm really particular about what I put on my body. So until I figure out exactly what I want, I'm not sure, but I would like to do more geometric stuff and stick with the theme. So we'll see.
How about you, Wade? Any tattoos you want to discuss?
Not yet, but one is in the pipeline.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of like a family thing, and I'm the black sheep, per se. So I'm the last one to get the tattoo in the family. It's kind of like our little symbol for each other.
Oh, that's cool.
You better get it.
I know. I've been holding it off for way too long.
Now, did you guys know each other at all before You were in this fan film together? Because I know you're both martial artists in the area, right?
Nope.
No, this was our first meeting. But
Mhm.
I think I had met her husband one time many years ago, because whenever she showed me a picture of him, and whenever he came in, when we were filming that day, I was like, I know exactly who this guy is. Like, we worked out together like 3 or 4 years ago. It was awesome. So the fact that like everything is kind of like interconnected here makes things in life a lot easier.
Mhm.
So once again, you guys had such amazing chemistry on screen. So this is the first time you ever met each other. Did
Mhm.
you do practice scenes and rehearsals or whatever? Did you just sort of go there in front of the camera and then suddenly, boom, lip lock?
Um, kinda. Kind of that latter part. Whenever we met, we went over some of the dialogue, and kind of like each of us got like square with each other on like what we wanted to do and how we wanted to present it. And the best thing about Cora is that she is a pro. She is a
Yeah.
true professional. She like in any of the scenes, she will give, and you will give, like, and that's just kind of how it is. And like the more you give, like the better things are. And it's just like fact of life.
For those people who didn't go to theater school or acting school or whatever, what does that mean? Because I always hear, actors saying, they give to me, I give to them or whatever. But I
Mm.
mean, really, what does that mean as an actor? You're there and what happens?
I mean, I think it's the chemistry, that word in itself, and it's energy, right? So, I mean,
Mhm.
I talk about energy to my kids all the time. Positive energy keeps breeding positive, and you light a candle, and then they light a candle, and then we've got a room full of candles. That's how energy works with acting. And honestly, that I was really nervous coming into this film because I didn't know anybody, and everybody was so good and so nice and so kind. And even just, this is my first time to work like on a film. I'm a stage actress. So I think I'd been in some films in the past, but it was more like music videos, non-speaking roles. So I learned a lot from watching Wade and just the way he was delivering, and he was very comfortable. And so because he was comfortable, it made me comfortable. So yeah, I think that's what that means. It's just the chemistry, and yeah, the energy spreading and working off of each other.
What
And
does it mean
being
for you? Yeah.
empathetic really like makes that process so much easier, because once you connect to that other person and you guys are on that same vibe, like life is flourishing at that point.
Well, that is awesome. So now you guys both prepared for the part. You knew all your lines and everything. You did that beforehand, because I know a lot of
Mhm.
times, people come to, fan films and they haven't learned their lines and it drives people crazy. Uh, directors, it drives the directors.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyway, once you're there and you're doing the scene, now Josh is directing.
Mhm.
What does that mean for someone who's never actually been in a fan film or in a film or whatever? What is the director telling you or not telling you? I mean, how involved does Josh get with your performances?
Josh, Josh is pretty loose. He will let you experiment, and he will let you try things. And if he likes it, he'll tell you. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't. But he is wearing so many hats whenever he's on set, because typically he's by himself. So he's over setting up lights, setting up boom stands, poles, all of that stuff. And while we're over there like rehearsing, he's listening to it, and he's like, yeah, do it like that. Or he's like, no, let's try to smooth that part out a little bit. And like he will give direction as he is working. It's unreal. Like I've never seen anybody else do that. Typically, someone will, you'll have like grips, you'll have GNE, AC and all of that. But Josh is a one man band, and that band is rocking, no doubt.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell Josh, you're doing too much on your fan film. You know, he can't afford to, like, hire a whole, cast, a crew and everything. He deals with the volunteers and people who are, willing to help out and
Yeah.
what you can get. So, he has to be his own cameraman sometimes, and his own gaffer and his own lighting guy
Oh
and
yeah.
sound guy. And
I feel bad because I am not a techie at all. And so like Wade's over there like moving lights and helping Josh. And I'm like, I don't even know what that's called. So like, I'm sorry, like I can't help you at all. But I will say the team all together, like whoever was there, super big team effort. Everybody just really, it was all hands on deck, as many hands on deck, because one of the days we were shooting, I mean, really, it was just Josh and cast and makeup. But yeah, everybody was super jumped in and helped each other.
And one more thing about this crew, because we filmed in like a few different locations, and I will tell you something. Like I've worked with many crews on films and projects and stuff like that, but this crew, even after the end of like a tough day and everyone's sweating and tired and mad, everyone still has a smile on their face, and everyone is still working until the timer says stop. And like that's hard to come by. And once you find something like that, like you want to stick with them.
Yeah, Avalon is just it's a great group of people, of fans, of fan filmmakers. You know, I mean, that's I give a lot of myself to them. Some people are like, "Is Josh your favorite fan filmmaker?" It's like, well, he's one of them. But you know, and that's why I help so much trying to market and promote the crowdfunder, which we'll talk about in just a little bit right before we go. But you know, just to try to make sure that Josh gets to continue doing this with you great people. You know, I hope we can see episodes with your characters in them again. I know that
Me too.
The next two do not feature these guys, or if one
I'll
of them,
tell you a funny idea that I have. I haven't talked to Josh about it, or maybe I mentioned it, but I'm going through fertility treatments right now. So I may get pregnant soon. And I thought it would be really funny to like in one of the like future films to have me like with this big pregnant belly, and people be like, "Oh, Ponfar, that hurt."
that magic moment.
Like just have me me and Wade walking in the background with me with this 9-month pregnant belly, and people be like, "Is that?"
Oh boy.
That's cool.
You wouldn't be the first person on Avalon to appear with a pregnant belly. Did you know that?
Oh, mm-mm.
Yeah, Victoria Archer, who plays Jamie Archer, the engineer, in the other side of things. She did, I believe it was Cosmic Stream. She did that very, very pregnant. I think she was like 7 or 8 months pregnant, and she had like a huge belly bump. So go back and watch Cosmic Stream again, folks, and look to see if you can see that belly bump, because you can't. Of course, she's so darn thin anyway. All right. Well, the one more thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and of course, it's I think what most people want to know about the most is the fight. Actually, I mean, there's two fights. I mean, there's one kind of throwing move at the beginning where Wade's involved, and then Cora, you with your Vulcan husband, you get into it. So first of all, Wade, you start out. So you're doing the punching and you're doing the throw with her. So how did that all come about? Who choreographed that, and how'd you do it?
Josh in the script, he had this highly detailed fight scene that took like, I think it was like 3 or 4 pages of just actions. And so that was kind of our building template. And then over the course and like getting used to the space and figuring out like what angles we could set up versus the bad shots and whatnot, we kind of like tore some of that out and went for a little bit simpler approach that had some like high dynamics to it.
So just you throw her and then she throws you, and
oh yeah,
straddling.
Yeah, and it's like, and Cora, now listen, she's strong. She knows exactly what she's doing. And so just to emphasize like her Vulcan strength, like in the beginning, like before we were filming, like we were doing rehearsals, and I would just try and throw myself as far as I could whenever she grabs my arm and launches me. And I thought, like, because I wasn't really for sure exactly like the strength ratio from Vulcans versus humans. Like if it's like 2 or 3 times more, that equation lost my mind. But it was a lot of fun. Just doing all of that.
So he would throw me, and then I would land and I'd yank his arm, and really most of that was Wade just being athletic, and he was going like across the room. And at one point Josh was like, a little less, Cora. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. He's doing all the work. Like, I'm just doing that. But it was just funny because that really was him like doing a good forward roll. But yeah, it was funny because Josh is like, calm down, Cora. And I'm like, that's not me.
So now, and by the way, all of that was filmed in your gym, right?
So it's not my gym. It's actually my best friend's gym, and it's called Inferno in Bentonville. So that's like one of our cousin schools. We're under the same affiliation. So I've spent many, many hours in that gym. It feels like it's my gym because I've trained there so many times, but technically my other friends own it.
Oh, okay. And you're in your gym right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And when you, by the way, earlier on when you said my kids, obviously you're having fertility treatments. You don't have kids yet, right? You just
Oh, I just have like 150 of them.
you have 150 kids.
Yeah.
You don't need fertility treatment. No.
but not my own. Yeah.
Not your own. No. So how many kids are in a typical class that you teach then?
So we try to cap it around 30 because after 30, the instructor per student ratio, they're just not getting as one-on-one. But some classes I have like 7 people assisting and helping. But yeah, I would say about 30 per class, and we have about 150 youth and teens here. So we've got over 400 active members at my gym. So it's awesome.
Mm.
Wow, that is awesome. How young to how old?
3, and that's the class I'm going to be teaching at in like an hour and a half, and that is the hardest class. Yeah.
I remember when Jaden was 4 and he was first doing karate, and my son has ADHD, so one of the reasons I wanted him to do martial arts was to help him focus, which it really, really did. But early on,
Herding cats.
Herding cats. Yes, but Sensei William Candelario is Jaden's sensei, but he's so good with kids. And Jaden's grown up with him. I mean, at this point, from the age of 4.5 to 11. I mean, this is another dad in his life.
Yes,
he had a
definitely.
gymnastics teacher, his karate teacher, his robotics teacher. I mean, all of these amazing adults and mentors for him. So what you're giving the kids as well, I'm sure, is just worth its weight in gold of having something to help them learn and focus, because the discipline of martial arts, and you're teaching them
a special job.
And you're teaching them Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is that right?
So we do MMA with the kids. So they're learning a mixture of boxing, kickboxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. So a little bit of everything.
How do you keep them from hurting themselves?
Kids they're great. They're bendy. Like I just did a yoga training and the instructor was like, okay, so for example, a 60-year-old, we have to be careful about the way they move their bodies. Children, they're so pliable that, it's really not hard to keep them safe. And I will say this, I will see kids take a fall or do something that I'm like, ooh, that was bad. Come here. You want a hug? Come here. And they're like, no, Miss Cora, I'm good. And then I'll see them like trip over their own toe and go down on the ground being like, ah. And I'm like, okay, you're just tired. Get back out there, So kids are actually super tough, super strong. And we have a really great track record of keeping our kids healthy. And I think creating a good training partner environment, like we talk a lot about keeping everybody safe and healthy. So that goes a long way. But yeah, kids are they bounce right back.
They're made of rubber. They'll be fine.
They are. They'll be fine.
So speaking of being made of rubber and stuff, now you and your Vulcan, Blake, is the actor who plays your Vulcan husband, Svan. Now you guys really got into it. You did a lot of moves. Did you prepare it all for that? Were the rehearsals? Was that also Josh choreographing it? How was that working?
Yeah, so we just kind of started at the top of the script and started working our way through. We practiced the technique, a few times, but, part of the reason why Josh asked me to be involved is that, we didn't really have to teach any moves to anybody. So it was just, okay, this is what I want. All right, do it. Okay, film it a couple times. All right, that's the take we want. Okay, let's move on to this take. So yeah, it was a really good flow. I had a ton of fun doing the fight scene and would love to do more because it was just lots of fun. So
how long did it take for everything that we saw on screen? I guess that whole sequence on screen maybe lasts about 2 or 2.5 minutes or so. How long did that all take to film, counting the stuff that wasn't used?
What do you think, Wade? Just that scene at the end, 2 hours? Is that?
Yeah, at least like 2 or 3 hours, getting all the different angles, all of the takes and stuff like that, and finding the good versus the bad. It was about that for about 2.5 minutes.
That took the most time, was just resetting up lighting for the angles. And, once again, I'm standing there going, I don't know. And Wade's helping Josh, move things. So I would say that took the most time, was just the angles, the shots versus the actual doing the fight scening.
Yeah, because that's, just to reiterate, yeah, that is why Josh wanted us to do all of this. Pretty much every actor was trained in something, and the ones fighting, all of us were trained. And so the fact that we could do it quickly and safely, like really helped progress the shooting experience.
Yeah, I mean, you don't usually see stuff like that in fan films for very obvious reasons. You know, I mean, the fact, you know, it's not just the fact that, you know, we don't know how to fight. You know, we're not stunt people, most of actors. We're also, you know, 55-year-old, you know, overweight men. So, and in fact, I want to ask, you know, after 3 hours of doing all these moves, are you exhausted, or is it like, oh, we only did the moves for like, you know, 2 minutes at a time, and then I had a lot of time to rest. So, you know.
That's more so how, because it was, you know, shot and scene. So Josh even said from the start, we're not going to do a start to finish. Like, we're not going to figure it out and do the whole thing and then, okay, do it again. If we did that, I feel like I would have been a lot more tired. But yeah, no, we did little shots. Okay, rest. Okay, angle shots. And I think that was the smartest way to approach
Absolutely.
that.
Cool. Yeah, because whenever fatigue starts to set in is when accidents start to happen.
Yep.
Good point. Hadn't thought about that. All righty, so let's wrap up here by talking about the crowdfunder for the next big Avalon project that doesn't necessarily feature the two of you, but each one take a turn being the pitch man or pitch woman or pitch actor or pitch actress or whatever project you want. But you know, tell people why they should give their hard-earned dollars to Josh and not, you know, buy groceries and food and gas to keep themselves going.
You first or me first, Wade?
I'll go right after you.
Okay. So, well, because I'm new to this scene, let me just say that out of anybody, I feel like I came in, everybody was so nice, so kind. These people are so passionate that even myself, like, who was just an actor, like, I'm wanting to donate because I saw a glimpse of what they're doing, and it's just really cool, and Josh deserves it. Everybody's working so hard, and I know that a lot of people, from based on what I saw on YouTube, people look forward to these films, and it takes a lot for somebody to come up with an idea, and it takes even more for someone to actually follow through and create something. How many ideas do we have? Oh, tons, you know, they're a dime a dozen, but Josh actually followed through and created something that a lot of other people couldn't do. So I definitely, you know, if you watched an episode or look forward to the future, anything helps, and these people deserve it. They're very good people. They deserve it. So.
All right, follow that one up, Wade.
I will try. All I know is that, like, anybody who's listening or watching right now, like, you are here because you enjoy these fan films, and I can promise you that our production team, we kick as much ass for as little money as humanly possible. The more money we have, the more ass we can kick. Like, that's the ratio. So I mean, just, yeah, from earlier, like the showrunner, the head honcho, the director, Josh, this is his, like, this is what he wants to do. I don't see him stopping. Even if he has nothing but dirt in his pockets, he is still going to make something, and he's still going to make something for you, because that is just who he is. And, you know, and that's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, you have to give to get. And if you give, you will get something amazing each and every time, because that is just, that's who we are. We're pros, and we're not gonna give you anything that is not worth your time. I can promise you that.
All right, I think I have to get this over to Josh before he finishes making his Ask video, because those two have to be inserted in there somewhere. All righty, well, I think we have reached the end of our allotted time, because I know that Cora has to go and teach the wee little ones, the wee barons, before they start coming in that door behind her, which I was told is probably going to happen. To get very, very loud. So, but I just wanted to thank you guys once again for taking your time to talk to us, and also for just being just such a darn cute couple on screen. Just want to hug you both.
Well, hey, I appreciate you. This is an amazing event, and thank you for taking the time to get us on your screen. This is awesome. Appreciate you.
Seriously, thank you. It's nice to see people support other filmmakers and actors and be interested. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's something I can do while I'm looking for a job.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, guys. Live long and prosper, as they say, and we'll see you in a future fan film.
Thank you.
See ya.